Hey, what you reading for?
Hey, what's up YouTube? Thank you for clicking on this channel. I hope you enjoy the content and I hope you consider subscribing if you haven't already. Your support is keeping the channel going and it is much appreciated. I have just finished this little book, Greek Lessons by Han Kwang, and I have opinions. So I will give you my review of this book. I will compare it to other books I have read recently. And in doing so, I will share with you some personal, intimate things about myself, including one of my most profound fears. Should be fun. So let's skip the intro sequence and dive right in. Han Kwang is the author of several books, including the 2007 mega hit, The Vegetarian. Last year, in 2024, she was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. She came onto my radar with The Vegetarian, which is the book that spent the longest time on my TBR, probably close to a decade, and I never read it. And then when this book came out, I just took The Vegetarian off my TBR and replaced it with Greek Lessons, which I did eventually get around to reading, and it only took me 18 months. What is Greek Lessons about? Well, a man who teaches ancient Greek at some sort of learning center. He is afflicted with a congenital disorder that will eventually deprive him of his eyesight. And one of his students, a woman who through a series of traumas has lost the ability or the courage to speak. Two seemingly ordinary people brought together in a moment of personal anguish, the fading light of a man losing his vision, meeting the silence of a woman who has lost her language. Yet these are the very things that draw them to each other. Greek Lessons is a tender love letter to human intimacy and connection, a novel to awaken the senses, vividly conjuring the essence of what it means to be alive. Most of the book, and it is a short book, coming in at just under 150 pages, most of the book is comprised of short poems or poetic passages. To give you an idea, here, little vignettes of poetry that when put together, they should amount to something impactful. That's the idea. I like poetry. I like it a lot. I generally prefer my poetry in small doses. A novel, albeit a short novel, consisting of mainly poems, is going to be a tough sell on me. But it has worked on me in the past, and when it hits, it usually hits quite hard. So starting off this read, I was full of hope and optimism in that naive way that I have trained myself to react to all new things. Here with Greek Lessons, the poetry didn't do much for me, I'm sorry to say. Part of the reason for that may be that the book was written in Korean, so what I experienced was a translation. And maybe some of the poetry was lost in translation, maybe. Also, a good bit of the poetry centers around language, the intrinsic designs, beauty, and complexities of language, specifically the Korean language and ancient Greek. I do not have any knowledge or familiarity with these languages. The beauty and complexity of these languages is not something I have ever experienced. So there might be an aspect, an important aspect of the poetry in this book that is lost on me because of that, maybe. Usually I like it when a character has intimate knowledge or passion for a subject that I know little about. That allows me to discover new things. It's both escapism and discovery for me as a reader. So the fact that I knew going into this read that the book was going to revolve around subjects I know very little about, that was actually a selling point for me. But ultimately, it may have been one of the factors that prevented me from connecting with the material as much as I hoped I would. When it comes to poetic prose or novels that are presented as poetry, or poetry that is presented as a novel, the first title that comes to mind is The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. A significantly longer book, but I devoured it in like 2 days, 5 stars. It's an unfair comparison. Stylistically, there are similarities, interweaving timelines, interweaving perspectives, a reliance on poetry rather than prose to tell the story. But The God of Small Things is, I think, the high watermark for that style, the standard for that kind of storytelling. With Greek lessons, I appreciate the author's ambitions, but it didn't work for me, really. One of the things about the blurb, or one aspect of the story that I found particularly appealing, one of the reasons that I wanted to read this book, is that one of the main characters is losing his sight. His father went blind in the later part of his life, just like his father before him. So this main character, he knows that this is the fate awaiting him. He knows that he is slowly losing his sight, and that frightens him and informs how he views the world. My situation is not that bad, not that cut and dried, but I do have poor eyesight, and it's getting worse as the years go by. When I was a child, there was a possibility that I would not see. I underwent an operation. The operation was successful, but the fear of losing my sight gradually, this is one of my biggest fears. I enjoy confronting my fears, at least confronting them intellectually or emotionally through literature. There is something invigorating. I don't really understand why I'm compelled to explore. I think I'm not alone. I want to connect with the characters I'm reading about, but if I connect in a dark way or in a scary way, sometimes that's even better. A man who is gradually losing his eyesight suddenly finds himself surrounded by alligators while his girlfriend is asking him to explore his emotions. That would be the most terrifying book for me. There are no alligators in this Korean drama, but I was impacted by and shared the fears of one of the central characters. It's like when you have a toothache and you can't stop touching the tooth with your tongue so that you can feel the pain again and again. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. I've had that experience before, and I'm saying to myself, stop touching it. You're just making it hurt. But I can't stop. And I don't know why. I think there must be something similar going on with reading about characters who are losing their sight. It hurt. It was uncomfortable, but I will happily do it again if the chance arises. Can you think of a book with a character who is losing their sight? One you could recommend? Let me know about it in the comment section so I can flick my tongue against that pained tooth. Two people, the two central characters of this book, they have issues. Though they participate to an extent in society, they feel disconnected from everyone. This is due to their traumas and the lingering psychological effects of their traumas. They meet, they try to connect, and it's messy. This type of plot intrigues me. When damaged people try to connect in an intimate way, I want to watch and see what happens. Here in Greek Lessons, we do have this plot, but I found it underwhelming, ultimately, if I'm being honest. I can't help comparing it to another book with a similar plot, The Piano Teacher by Alfred Jelinek. That book I thought was exceptional. Greek Lessons goes for a similar thing, but falls well short, in my opinion. Both authors, incidentally, Han Kwang and Alfred Jelinek, have both won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Emotionally unstable, social outcast trying to enter into a romantic relationship, that sort of thing is really big in Sweden, unsurprisingly. So ultimately, I did not connect with this book as much as I hoped I would, but it did remind me of some brilliant books that I have read in the past, The God of Small Things and The Piano Teacher. Since this was my first experience with Han Kwang, do I want to have another? Do I want to check out The Vegetarian, for example, her big hit, or Human Acts, another popular book of hers, a book that has a ridiculously high Goodreads star rating of 4.26. Now, I've learned too many times that I should not put much stock in Goodreads star ratings, but still, that's impressive, 4.26. Don't find that often. I think I might check out more from Han Kwang. Yes, I might put The Vegetarian back on my TBR, hopefully this time for a much shorter stint. While Greek lessons didn't do much for me, I do appreciate the author's ambition. Poetic prose, when done well, can be very powerful. And maybe I'll fare better with a different book of hers. Have you read any of her books? Any you would recommend? Have you read Greek lessons? Were you able to get something out of it that I wasn't? Are my comparisons fair? Have you read The God of Small Things with a piano teacher? They are amazing. Speaking of emotionally damaged social outcasts trying to connect, I look forward to connecting with you in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the show notes for descriptions and links to my books. Maybe there's one that appeals to you. It's a great way to support the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next video.